Hi there, I'm so delighted that you've joined us to watch this Bible teaching video. We're in Ephesians chapter 6, and we're in a section that deals with really employment, verses 5 to 9 in the workplace. We've looked at verses 5 to 8, which would be really about slaves in the day it was written, but we've translated it to apply it to situations of employment because the principles still apply. In the final verse of the section, verse 9, Paul addresses the masters or the employers, the business owner. He says this, "And you masters, do the same things unto them, forbearing threatening, knowing that your master also is in heaven, neither is there any respect, neither is there respect of persons with him." So he's addressing the employer, and he's saying to them, be conscientious and responsible towards those who serve you, as you would expect them to be towards you. Do the same things unto them. So he's building on what he's taught the slave and the servant. Do the same things. What are those things? Well, we were taught about respect, responsibility. We were taught about being focused on seeing your employment as serving the Lord Jesus Christ. We were reminded that we were to do it not just when we were being watched, and we were to do it as if we were doing the will of God from our heart. And we were to remember that as we do it for the Lord, there is a day of reward. Now, all of those principles are applied to the master, to the employer. As for you employers, be as conscientious and responsible towards those who serve you as you expect them to be towards you. Don't abuse your power, forbearing threatening. Don't abuse your power. Don't misuse that power that has been put into your hands. There's a principle here that those who are in positions of employer and maybe have wealth and have possessions and have authority, God has given them that. They didn't just get it by their own forceful practice. God allowed them, or God permitted them, or God gave them that opportunity. But there's a really important principle here. Not forgetting that you too are responsible, knowing that your master also is in heaven. The principle is, remember that you too have someone to answer to. I used to remember my dad used to say to me, everybody's got a boss. Even the prime minister answers to the voters. Everybody has got somebody they answer to, and all men answer to God at the end of the day. Knowing that you two have a master in heaven, this employer is being reminded, or this master is being reminded. And he's actually being reminded that the master in heaven doesn't make a distinction between master and man. So let's look at those points. Number one, the master is being told, give up threatening. Now, that was normal in those days for the master to be powerful, and he could do what he wanted and say what he wanted. You read through the parables in the Gospels, the Lord Jesus talks about a man coming home from his day's business, and he's not expected to serve his servants. His servants are expected to serve him. He sits down, he expects them to look after him. And if they didn't, he could be heavy-handed. He could be threatening. Well, the Christian employer, the Christian master, is to forbear threatening. He's not to be heavy-handed. He has to be careful and caring towards those who work for him. The second point here is that you have a master in heaven, and you're answerable to him. And he too will hold you accountable. And whether that's elders responsible, the chief shepherd, or whether it is parents responsible for how they've handled their children, or whether it's members of a local church answering at the judgment seat of Christ for what they've built into a local church, everybody answers to someone and ultimately to God at the end of the day. So don't threaten your employees. Remember you've got a master in heaven. And then thirdly, remember God is not partial. Remember that. God is not partial. That is, God doesn't distinguish between the master and the employee or the slave, the servant. That God doesn't judge according to status. God holds everybody accountable for how they behave and what they do. These are good, practical lessons about godly living as a Christian within the work environment. Thanks for watching this. I do appreciate it.